morning.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm a little disoriented because we had to try all of the mics in the studio to to figure out what was happening with my audio problem. So sorry to all of our live flow riders. We're running a little bit late. Totally my fault.
It's actually not really because you didn't create the tech problem yourself. It just happens. This
No,
is tech. Tech,
it just
tech
happened.
has a. It's Tech Tuesday. Tech is like, you know what? I don't know why, but I'm gonna mess with Katie today.
Yeah, but that's why we do tech check.
Oh, that's why we do
Exactly,
tech check, and having a backup
100%.
mic goes a really long way. Today I am rocking the like really hefty and awesome MV6. So
Yeah.
yeah, shout out to our friends
Yeah.
at Shure for providing us with a great backup mic. I was like, we're good to go. Let's get going here.
Fun fact: if you reach over to the SM7B and pull the dock pop off and put it on there, you can look cooler.
Ooh, I could. All right, all right, all right, all right, all right.
That's called
We've
product
been doc.
placement, people. You see that? Shkoom. Wow! Yay! Shh! And the crowd goes wild. Katie, Katie, Katie.
We just lost her audio.
Why? Because she hit the mute button. You gotta not hit the mute button.
Test.
There we go.
I hit the mute button. This is the downside of this mic. Thanks, Louise.
Actually, if you go, we're not going to do this right now, but if you go into the Motive app, you can disable the mute button. I've disabled mine
Yeah.
because I am famous for hitting that sucker.
I should know better because when I'm at home, my MV7 has that button as well, and I'm constantly like knocking the volume up and down, and also the mute button. So there you go. If you have been
Yeah,
feeling
you can
silly or
absolutely
stupid
disable
for
it.
audio challenges, I am too. I am right there with you. All right, all right.
Thank you,
Are we
Osho.
ready
Yeah, let's go.
jump
I'm
in?
ready. Let me
Let's go.
water this real quick.
Yeah, check it out. Check it out. While you're at it, everyone swing on over to docpops.com.
Dude, I
Doc
have a
pops do
hilarious
not affect
thing.
your volume.
Katie, I have a
Go
hilarious
for it.
thing. Every time we get ready to do Unstuck, Mary Lou does the standard actor's fare of the bubbling the lips. And I can do it when I'm not live 24/7. But every time I try to do it, like
Oh, I can't
I
do it.
can't do it.
Yeah, I can't. I'm not even gonna try. That's a Mary Lou thing.
But
I'm not
I can
capable.
do it
I'll
whenever we're
shake.
not
I'll
live. But
shake.
I think it's because I'm already laughing or smiling, and then I can't do it. But I'm like, how come I can do it if I'm just watching TV? It comes out. I can do horse.
I don't even know if I can do that
Okay,
one. I don't want to try.
let's cut it down in 5, 4. Aloha, Flow Riders, and welcome to another edition of The Flow. I am that weird guy, Doc Rock, along with my awesome co-host.
Hey everyone, it's Katie.
All right, Case, what are we doing today besides making me laugh?
We're going to continue making you laugh because we are talking all about engagement, and not the kind where you put a ring on it, but the kind where you get a community to show up to your recordings or streams or show in some way or another and take action and spend time together. And I'm excited for this one because I think I'm gonna go ahead and say that we're somewhat best in class at this. I think we do a lot of really cool community engagement things, both on our shows as well as just in general. So we're gonna run through some of the things that work for us, as well as some of the cool things we've been seeing out in the podcasting world. So all about engagement today. Speaking of engagement, Doc is madly trying to type away.
And it's funny because I can't, and so it's horrible because I was like, listen, I just typed the same thing wrong 8 times. I quit. I give up. So yeah, let's go ahead. What to me, it's funny, right? There is a difference between a high level of activity and engagement, and I know a lot of people want to say they're the same, and then of course, you can kind of start something that creates a lot of input, and some people would say that's engaging, but I think in a way engagement is more about the people just want to be there. Like They feel like
Mm,
they're missing out if they're not there. And I think
mm,
it's more important to create that level of engagement than just the chat is busy for no reason, which is why we're a lot more lax on the Ecamm side of things, right? But on my show, I kind of cut off the useless banter. And I'm like, I want the chat to be sort of guided towards whatever we're talking about that day and making sure that the conversations are fruitful. And that's where this guy named Paul comes in and kind of like, keeps everything straight. And so it's funny because I'm looking at the comment right now. Paul even says, remember, this stream is about podcasting. Your questions should be about podcasting. And
mhm,
fully understand it's hard sometimes because we're Ecamm, and when we show up to do the flow, people want to ask us tech support questions. And under normal
mhm.
circumstances, we want to answer those tech support questions. But in the case of the flow, it can break the flow. So
Yeah.
we want to kind of keep
Yeah.
them flow oriented. And that becomes difficult if you don't have a dope moderator, award winning moderator, now we should say, with like
Mhm.
Paul Duncan. So that's
Yeah.
my first
I think
input.
it's also I think it's super important to highlight a couple of things as we start talking about engagement. We so we host this show in a somewhat unique way that we're
Yes.
certainly big believers of, and we're on a mission to get more people to approach podcasting this way. But we have like almost an added benefit because we live stream our recording process. That opens up this live chat space here on YouTube where people can feel part of the making and the creation of each of our episodes. If you're watching or listening to this and that's not how you run your podcast, but you're still looking for different ways to build engagement, it's important to remember that like you need to have a defined space for your community to be. In our case, the mass majority of our space for our community is in the YouTube chat. We also have, a Facebook group and a Discord space, but those are actually for the larger Ecamm fam and not actually just for flow writers, at least at this point in time to November 2024. We don't yet have that, but I will say that there are lots of amazing podcasts and shows out there where they don't do this format, but they still have a really engaged, dynamic community that is still spending time together and asking questions and, like everything that Doc just said, like they feel part of the conversation. They want to show up in different ways and places. Like I have a friend who runs a movie podcast similar to my personal show. And they do occasional live episodes, but for the most part, their podcast is recorded and and goes out at a set day and time, and they do a lot of batch recording. But they have a really vibrant Discord community where people go and watch movies together as they're getting ready for the episode. They ask questions, they're talking with the hosts. So I just want everyone to like realize that there is no right, like everything else, there's no like right way or wrong way to do this. What you need to really keep in mind is where where is your audience home base, and like you need to make it so that that place is a dynamic, interesting place for them to spend time, and you're giving people opportunity to connect and to engage there. So that's my
Yeah,
soapbox moment.
and and I want to back up your soapbox moment with the little OxyClean. Um, I literally just made a video about this on my channel, but I really want to hammer this through to everyone who's watching this later, who's watching it in the chat right now. Stop looking for a turnkey solution that is going to
Yep.
be perfect because it just does not work. Every, this is a horrible. See, you can't even use the analogy now. Every show is like a snowflake. That just doesn't ring so well anymore. Every show is unique. It's like a diamond. Every diamond's unique. There's no such thing as all the diamonds are the same, right? They all have different
Yep.
facets. Ooh, he's getting good. That one's starting to work now.
Mm,
Okay, so
fancy.
and so I mentioned this recently to my people because everyone's like, oh, come and check out this strategy because this strategy is the win. But the reality is all strategy is autobiographical. So the strategy works because it works for us. This strategy may not work the exact same for you. You have got to be able to take what we give you, like these are the ingredients, and then you're going to adjust it. So if you
Mhm.
happen to be allergic to gluten. We're just going to switch the flour to another ingredient that will still make them cookies. It just ain't got no
Mhm.
flour, right? And
Yep.
you've done this in many other aspects of your life. You know what I'm saying? Like you go to the kids store, everybody has that size, 0 to size 12. But your kid was born with sugar foots. He got big ass feet. You have to take your kid to the men's section. It doesn't make
Yep.
him any less of a kid. He just got big foots. He could be a soccer player, a punter, a field goal kicker, a professional kickboxer, whatever. Some kids is born with big feet, and it doesn't, you just make those adjustments. So I want you, the same way you make those adjustments in your everyday life, take what we give you and apply the good stuff to you. The things that won't work your way, let it go. But looking for that, and Luis and I just talked about this cookie cutter. No, there, I can't give you a box and be like, here's a podcast in the box. It's perfect. You're going to be great. You're going to make $1 million. Doesn't work. You have to adjust it to you.
Yeah. And this goes like double for community building and engagement, because what is going to work in building your community is your uniqueness, your personality, the weird quirks that make you and your show unique. Because the reality is that there are an insane amount of podcasts about podcasting. There are an insane amount of podcasts, about creators. There are an insane amount of podcasts about movies, right? But these shows you show up to and listen to and spend time with because of the people, because of the content, because of the whole vibe. So right, so it you need to keep that in mind as you're thinking about engagement, that it is actually the one case where you can't just replicate something. You can replicate the best practices, but you're going to have to take a spin, you're going to have to take a stand, and it is still going to need to be you there. So you're absolutely right, Doc. It's not perfect, and um it's not generalized. It's really specific. And I want to kick it off with an example.
Wait, I have one thing to add
Um,
real quick. It's really
Go
short
for it.
because there's a good comment that came in, which is why it's cool that we record live. Mark said he
Uh-huh.
wants the pilot to be 100% perfect. And it was a comeback off of a statement about wanting the tech to be perfect. You know what pilots are really good at? Everything that's in the book and the manual and the simulator says when I come in for a landing, it's going to be line this up and this is going to work. When you're landing in a Boston Logan, the crosswind coming off that water is so strong, it is almost
Mhm.
like Heathrow, and you have to make a manual human adjustment every
Yep.
single day. Nothing in the book about pilot school helps you at Heathrow, at Logan, or Daniel Inouye Honolulu International. Why? They're all right next to the water, all hella windy places. So even the pilot has to make those last minute adjustments. Never set me up to set a point home. You should know I'm good at this.
Oh, I
I
love
feel
it.
like
Okay,
Sammy
well,
Sosa right now.
here is my fun example, that I want to talk through, because I've just been really paying a lot of attention to this. So, like many of you out there, I am also a huge podcast consumer, and I listen to and watch a ton of different kinds of podcasts in all different kinds of formats. And I'm always keeping an eye on like what I love about those shows and what maybe rubs me the wrong way, how I consume them, where I consume them, what the time is. I'm thinking about this all the time because it is obviously incredibly relevant to what I do for a living, and as a podcaster myself, I'm trying to get better. So, I've recently started listening to this Australian comedy daily podcast called The Tony and Ryan Show, which many of you probably have heard of or listened to in some way. I found out about this show through TikTok by sending TikTok back and forth to my best friend, and they were just funny, like quick, hilarious moments from the show. And then after a while, I started saying, "Hey, I've now watched a preposterous amount of these TikToks. It's the predominant like account that I'm sharing and resharing with all of my friends. So I should actually just check out this show." And so I started, searching in all the different podcast players for where I would listen to this show. I started listening to it, and This show does something I think really fun and really different as it pertains to engagement and community building. So they have they do a ton of live streams, but they do not record their show live like we do, but they do live streams that are only for their members. So they're paying, memberships get to come and spend time with them in a live stream. But they have a Facebook group that is all of their people. So they're, all and who they call tarpers. So Tony and Ryan podcast, tarp. So they're tarpers. So the first step is that, like us, they've given their people a name, like a brand, an identity to stand behind and enjoy and laugh about. They've given them a space. So they have a Facebook group, and this space is open to everyone. But there are also levels and tiers above that for people who want to be more engaged, to be, a paid member, to be part of it. And they pull almost all of their discussion points and their topics for every episode from their community. So they are constantly asking questions in their community. They're polling. They're hearing what people are talking about. They're hearing those stories. They have people send things in all the time. So they're living in that community, and that community is feeding their show. And they're calling everyone up by name. They're like, "Hey, Doc was talking yesterday about this crazy thing that happened to him, and let's talk about it out here on the show." And they've made games out of it. They've made segments out of it. Everything is rooted in the community. So when you're listening to the show, you're listening to see if they're going to talk about you. They call members of their show to approve the show or not approve the show. Like they are constantly, it feels like, even though it's just the two of them on, they never have guests that come on. It's just the two of them on. It feels like it's a community led and a community driven show, because they're constantly featuring people. And at no point am I saying, oh, they're talking about Doc, or they're talking about Paul, or they're talking about this other person, so I feel left out. I'm saying, how the heck do I get into this Facebook group so that I'm featured on the show, so that I can share my stories? And because these people all sound hilarious, like the things that are happening to them, this feels like a fun space to spend time in. So this is like a
I like it.
glowing example of a show that has a very different format from ours. They're not like, they're doing, the show very differently. They're doing a daily show, which feels super daunting to me. They have millions and millions of followers. So they're also a much larger show than we are, but they are very, very connected to their community, and they are doing really cool engagement with their people. So again, if you can really think through like who your people are, where you want them to be, give them that space and then leverage that space. I think that's the pro tip or the formula that we should all be thinking about as we're thinking about engagement.
I have a
The Osho says,
question.
I'm an Aussie. There you go. Well, listen to that show. Very
So
craft.
is so is
Very,
Mark.
very craft.
So is Mark. So
Morning. Very
we
craft
got all
show.
of the oi. So I have a question. This
Yeah.
is just a crazy question. I
Sure.
haven't listened to it yet, but I just pulled it up on my phone so that I can go and check, because you mention it all the time, and I'm like, okay, Kitty keeps mentioning it. I better look it up. So I
I
pulled it up on my
randomly
phone.
came across it. Yeah.
Look,
Yeah.
there it is. I got it.
Yeah.
So is it mostly conversational, or something else? Is it mostly
So
conversational?
it is entirely conversational. It's like, I would
Perfect.
define it as a comedy podcast. So they're talking about experiences that happen to them or their audience. They're it feels like spending time with friends. So it is absolutely
Yeah.
conversational. But the episode is each episode and the show itself is very structured, way more structured than our show is. Like, they have these very defined segments. They're pulling the content for these segments in from their audience. So for example, they have a segment called Normal or Nah. They even have a card game built off of this, where they will take a story or a instance or whatever from an audience member, and then they talk amongst themselves as to whether or not they think that's totally normal, or it's, nah, we shouldn't.
That's
So it's
funny.
something like,
Oh my God.
do you
That's funny.
throw like all your clothes into the same load, like and it's like, is that normal or is that not? And they
No,
could be like as crazy as possible,
that's
right? So
not.
it's right. See, but it everything that they talk about elicits a response, right? So whether you're listening at home and you're screaming at your phone, or you're in their space and you're actually like typing out and sharing answers, or you're the co-host, like there are questions that are easy to answer. So
I
again,
like
it's
it.
it's an interesting format because it's very structured, but it is also very conversational. So I think you could pull a lot of different learnings from it.
Yeah, and the reason why I asked is because I think not that I'm saying we should do this every day, but I think one thing that's really cool about conversational podcasts is they're a little bit easier to do as a daily
Mm.
show. It is a fantastic way to grow. So even if you have no intentions on doing a daily show, but you want to get some discovery things out there, maybe you pick a month and you go daily for a month and you tell your audience ahead of time, I'm not making this permanent. It's going to be a month-long thing, but I'm doing this because we have a series of topics that we want to cover and we want to make it get into the hands of as most people. So I want to do this. The other thing this is good for, I want you guys to lean in, grab a pencil and paper real quick, or bookmark this timestamp so you know, do a daily thing for like a week or two as a way to build the SEO for your show. Because you have a
Mhm.
brand new show, it doesn't have any SEO. So when someone goes to search for it, they're not going to find it. How you get discovery is through finding. So when we did Creators Unstuck, one of the things that Lou and I wanted to do was get these first 10 episodes out of the way. We recorded like 7 of them before we ever even released the show. And then now we're back filling it with other things, right?
Yeah.
So I'm on my channel doing a daily for the month of November because it's a good way to respike that SEO. And I need to respike that SEO because I'm trying to get some speaking gigs for Creators Unstuck. Now, my channel is my channel, but I want Lou and I to take the Creators Unstuck show on the road because we had a perfect time doing it with Maury at camp, like doing the Unstuck live. So when someone goes to look for me, if we apply to go to Saeed, the facilitator's show in Germany, like he's going to be like, who's this guy that wants to speak on my show? So you're going to hit the Google box, and he goes, oh, I see all of this stuff that he's been talking about recently. This is perfect. We need him to speak in my show. So it is very much a way to teach you guys that you can do daily, like stop tripping. It's also very much a way to be like, you don't have to do it forever. You can use it as a boost. It's like turbo on a car. You don't want to stay in turbo. You want to hit it when you need to hit it. Otherwise, you'll blow your engine up, right? Things like that. And
Yeah.
like Billy's saying, it could be a grind, but I don't feel this as a grind because this is my purpose. I know exactly what my purpose is. I know who I'm talking to. I know who I'm teaching. I know what my identity is. So I just crank them out, and it's painless. I hate to say this and make people feel strange about it, but I'm on day 10 or 12 of creating a daily video for YouTube, and it is absolutely painless.
Yeah.
It takes me like less than an hour to crank out one of them videos. But that's because
Yep.
reps make it easier. Hey,
Yeah.
Kenya.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely. And they I think again to kind of tie that point back into like community building, it also like that kind of like power push, let's call it, where you're doing like daily recording, daily live for a short period of time, or I mean, or you take it and continue it longer. It also is gonna you're gonna start seeing that some of the same people showing up, right? And by again, by showing up, it could be that they're showing up in the live chat. It could be that they're starting to reach out to you through a channel, like maybe they're reaching out to you through a social platform, or that you've made your email address public in some way and they're reaching out to you by email. But start, if you're new to it and you're taking that concept of kind of being out there more often and kind of getting your content out in different ways, start paying attention to who the people are who are the most interested and where they're reaching out to you and how they're reaching out to you, as well as the kind of the things that they're asking or talking to you about, because it's those people who are like the OG, like original members of your community, and those people are going to help make it a more exciting, interesting, engaging experience for the future people that you're going to bring in, right? Like the founding members of your show, of your community, help to set the tone and define what that place is like, right? In the same way that like you want to pick good roommates so that you have a really fun place for everyone to come and visit you, because if you have crappy roommates and everything is a really awful feeling, like you're not going to pull in the people you want. So consider those people carefully, and also, double down. If it's the people that you really want to be in your space, like, ask them for input, ask them like where you should build your space. Um should it be a closed or an open group? Should it be in a live chat? Should it be an email newsletter? Like, we talked with Liz a couple weeks ago about email, right? So like, think about all of these things, but it's these
It should
original
be an email
people
news.
that it will make a big difference. And I think you're going to find them in exactly what Doc said, in kind of putting yourself out there more, and then watching, like, really being very intentional about seeing who is engaging with you and where, before you decide, like, well, I'm gonna build a Facebook group and I'm gonna do a giveaway every single week. Like, before you make any of those decisions, get going and start seeing, how your community is already engaging with you before you double down and try some of those ideas. Cause it might be that may not make sense for the community that you're already building. So just, I guess, keep that in mind.
And I wanna save this for another show, because it's kind of a long topic, but it's something that I've been studying a lot recently. And it says, like, now your follower count doesn't really represent your audience size anymore. And it's because all the platforms have gone to a for you motif. And I think
Mhm,
people know what that word is because they see it in all the apps, but they don't know what that word is, right? So in the old school style of recommendation engine, you were kind of being fed what was popular or what was hot at the moment. But in the
mhm,
for you recommendation engine, the programs, the platforms are feeding you content that is exactly what you've interacted with. So the thing about feeds nowadays, when you say, why is all of this crap showing up in my feed? It is not
mhm,
a mistake, fam. Whether you know it or not, you've been interacting with it, right? Because the
mhm,
feed will not show you what you don't want to see. So if you don't like post about, let's say, the Dallas Cowboys, and every time one pops up, you look at it because you're kind of like throwing shade at them because you don't like them, and you like move it up and down a couple times because you want to see what was said, and you totally disagree with it, but your thumb is holding the page. You didn't comment, you didn't like, but you actually watched the whole thing. You just told the feed that you want to see more about the Cowboys, even from a
mhm,
negative standpoint, because your eyes in your hand told the feed that you are watching this. Even if you're watching it to throw shade, you're watching it. So if you don't want to see the Dallas Cowboys in your feed, the minute you see a star, swipe right past it. Don't look at it, ignore it, and your feed will course correct. And it is bothering you right now because you're seeing too much of something you don't want, all of the platforms have a way for you to go in and reset the feed and start all over. So reset the feed and go hunt down cat videos and look at nothing but cat videos and how to make cheesecake and sourdough and visit Japan and check out the Flow and Doc Rock and Katie. And then now that's what your feed will be. So yeah.
yep, yep, yeah, absolutely.
Yes. So like Matt
Alright,
says,
I
his
wanna
feed has no sports in it because he don't look at that. So the recommendation engines are different. And knowing that, it's why you wanna have your email list and why you wanna go get your
Mhm.
people and have them interact with your stuff so that you can find new people because 'cause they're gonna go find people that like what they like. They know so much. You'd be surprised at
Yeah,
the
and
data points that these platforms have on all of us. Not to be scary,
absolutely,
it's
and
not like
and
that.
and the power of, like, word of mouth marketing is still really strong, particularly for podcasting. So again, you find your people, you make it really easy for them to be part of your world, and they help bring other people in. And just the act of them being there and commenting, and as Doc was saying, like, engaging with your content across all these different places, is pulling their people and, like, similar people to them into your world as well. So it is, I think, really important. Um, Okay, so once you're starting to kind of grow and build an audience, depending on what format your podcast is, there are a number of different ways to keep an audience engaged. And so I'm doing what I said I would do. And so you can see in this episode, up this way. I'm going to do the wrong way this way. We've added a QR code, right? So what does this QR code do? Well, this QR code, if you scan it, will open up our Ecamm Instagram account right into the DMs. And if you type podcast course, it will automatically send you a link to our free podcast course. So, and this is just a quick and easy example of some of the things that are possible for you out there, right? So you can add, if you have a video podcast, and Doc's, Doc's testing it out now, but if you add it, if you have a video podcast, you can use QR codes, you can use games, you can use any kind of like visual triggers that get your audience to take an action that maybe goes beyond being in the chat, right? So like all of you right now who are hanging out in our live studio audience are hanging out with us, but when this, when this stream ends and we're done our recording, we won't have a connection point anymore past this, right? With this, our connection point was right here in this chat, but the QR code will lead you back to our Instagram inbox. And so now we have the ability to send you a message back in Instagram, and we have a connection point back and forth. If you were interested in our course, you've typed that in, you have the link, now you're off and running in our course, right? So we're deepening that relationship in a way that's really, really easy for us and for anyone that is viewing us now or later. So this works at any point. Anyone can, can scan this and do this later. We could do it with a link in the chat as well. We could do it with a link in the description. We could do a combination of all three things. But this is a way that helps us be able to do this really easily. And as Doc typed, we're doing all of this with a tool called Stampede Social, but there are lots of ways to do these kinds of different flows. But Lou Mangello, who is a friend of ours and a friend of Ecamm, an Ecamm user for a long time, he's incredible at this. He'll do like giveaways, or he'll do audience questions. And instead of just having his audience reply back in the chat, or send him an email, etc., he gets them to go back to his website, and and they will sign up for a giveaway, or they will answer, answer and fill in their information that way. And then it starts a longer form conversation, right? So he's constantly building community in the places where it's helpful to carry on a two-way conversation versus only in the chat, where it's much more of a one-way conversation. So something to keep in mind. And again, like, this all works, so you can test it all out while we're hanging out here. But QR codes are a really great way to do this. It could also be like a live selling, like maybe you have merch, or maybe you could do this with any kind of thing. But what you're doing is getting someone to connect with you in a place where you can reply back and build a stronger relationship with them.
And so one of the things that like I recently built on Stampede is you can have it now that the words don't have to be hashtagged.
Nope.
Right? I think that's what Jeff just he hit me up recently and he said. So for
They
instance,
don't have to be
if
hashtag.
anybody was to be in any of my Instagram posts anywhere and they were to just type in Doc Pops or Doc Pop with only one D, because people misspell things, naturally, and it will just automatically send them things. So it's really cool. And also, one of the things I really like about it is it helps you track user generated content. So if someone, I'm telling everybody in the package, when you open it, it says share your pops and then use this hashtag, I can look at that and see who's opening their pops and who's sharing them. And I can tell by looking at the chat, a whole bunch of these people didn't share their Doc Pops. And so I'm kind of sad because I treat you guys so nicely. No, I'm just joking.
Yeah.
But it's really cool. That level of being able to meet your audience where they are, of course, but have fun with them, engage with them. And I think the key element, and something that we've been very good at Ecamm, is making the people who show up all the time, like, give them their props, because then the other people see that and they're like, yo, how come Andy's so cool? Like, how come they know Andy and Saeed and, like Paul, everybody first name? I want them to know me, because people just want to feel seen. They want to feel like they're a part of something. So, this is why I'm on this thing about stop showing up in your suit and tie, fam. People want to know you. Like, they want to know what you look like when you and you loosen that tie a little bit. They want to know the real deal you.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and on that note, I'm just trying to scroll back so I can find this exact question, but I believe it was Mark that was asking about, yeah, okay. So Mark was asking earlier, but this is relevant throughout this entire episode, is what we're talking about. Is it just for personal podcasts? What about the options for faceless ones? So Doc and I will both say, and I know he's like biting his words at this particular moment, there should never be a faceless podcast. There should, like, even if
Absolutely.
you are doing a podcast for, for the, I'm trying to think of it, like Amazon. So you're Jeff Bezos and you want Amazon to have a podcast, there should still be a face, a personality, a host, and a potentially a co-host, guests. Like, podcasts don't work from a business only standpoint. You have to have a personality. It could be a brand personality and it could be rotating people on it, but the listeners and the viewers and your audience are still going to relate to the human side of it and not just to the brand. So
I have deep
the short
feelings
answer
on
is
this
no.
too.
There are no faceless anything. It's not a thing.
Well, here's something that's crazy. There was a moment, like basically 2 years ago, where everyone and their mother was like, "Yes, you can absolutely succeed making faceless YouTube channels and faceless podcasts and so forth, and etc." If there is a channel where there is a person talking and there's no face right now, I instantly call BS. Why? Because if you go to look for something right now, it's almost Christmas, right? And let's say you want really killer outdoor lights, because I seen Katie's house and this girl love a decoration. So if you go to YouTube right now and you go, I need some really cool like LED decorations for the outside of my house for the festive season. First 5 videos. This holiday season, if you would like to get some holiday lights, you should click on these lights here from these, like, what's the name of the company back there? Oh, Kulu, like completely pronounced wrong. That's not what they're called. These Kulu lights are available on Amazon for a low price, and they are easy to set up. Those auto-generated voice over AI faceless channels wreck, trying to find something that you want. Looking for a new suitcase, a new backpack, a new barbecue grill. The first 5 videos will be these overinflated, freaking AI generated crap storms. And you know what kills me is when I'm a couple minutes in before I figure it out. Normally I can catch them right away, but some are so good now. I'm like,
Yeah.
I found it. There it is. There's the jacked up mispronunciation, and nobody from any country with any accent would even pronounce it this way. This is crap. And I have ran into so many of them recently that, yeah, at this point in time, faceless is a fantastic way to make sure no one ever sees your stuff.
I will, so as we're talking about this, I will say that, like, when we're saying faceless, like, we are really leaning much more towards, like, as Doc was saying, like AI generated content, or you're afraid to be on camera. There are people who do. So, like, I think of there is a really kind of famous, well-known YouTuber in the like fix it space, I guess, called This Old Tony. He's
Yes,
never on camera. It's always only his hands,
but it's
and
still
he's like
Tony.
fixing things. He's iconically never on camera, but you
Yeah,
still know it's a person, his
yeah.
personality. His brand is like jokingly that he's not on camera. He's actually shown himself, like, I think once, and everyone was like, that's what you look like. Like, I take that kind of, if that's your vibe and that's what you want to do for whatever reason, you can still have an effective podcast. You can still have an effective podcast without video, which I know is controversial for us to say as a video podcast team, but but because of the personality and the humanness of it, what you just don't want to do is do faceless, in that it's so overproduced or AI generated that it's not human, or it's so focused on trying to be so perfect and professional that it's not human. You can't be humanity and the personality and the relatability out of your show. So that is my definition, I guess, of faceless as far as
Yeah,
how I
I'm
see
trying
it.
to
Maybe
remember
that's
the
what Mark
guy
meant,
is
but
famous. Famous. from before YouTube got really popular. He used to do these hacker videos, not like hacker
Yeah.
like break into your stuff, but hacker like um open a bolt using two washers in a
Yeah.
zip tie. And I forget
Yep.
his name, but I think his initials were KK. So I'm just asking Matt in the chat who that guy was. But he had this voice. His voice was delicious, and he used to do all of these cool things. Like if you're ever in a pinch and you need to open this bolt, you can use like two washers and a zip tie, and you can get it open. No, it's not Crazy Russian Hacker. Like I know that guy is KK. His name was like Kolb or Kolb, but you never saw his face. You only saw his hands, and he
Uh,
was the bomb. And this was like
See?
OG YouTube
Oh.
2007, 8, 9, 10 guy. Was super badass. Make Magazine like used to always publish his videos because
Mhm.
he was that good. And I forget his name.
Yeah.
Never seen his face. He's kind of like Mythbusters saying he could build anything. And I swear I
Yeah,
can't remember his
see? It's a personality and it's the humanness of it all.
Yeah,
All
yeah,
right, well,
yeah.
I want to go to my favorite audience engagement thing. So we promised those who are keeping an eye on us in our Discord and in our Facebook group that we would do a duck race. So if you are looking to make things exciting for people, and you have a live audience, or you have the potential to do a special live show, doing a live giveaway or doing some kind of fun game. There's lots of different ways you can do this. We love Duck Race, but there's also Stream Alive is a great example of like audience engagement tools that work whether you're live or you're doing a Zoom, session or recording. So there's a bunch of different options there. But we're going to do a duck race. So everyone who's hanging out, all 26-ish of you right now who are spending time in our live studio audience, what should we do for our entry, Doc?
Dude, I know
Maybe.
Joe got me thinking about Wilson now because he was like, "Hey, howdy ho, neighbor." Just Joe had
All
thinking,
right, all
or
right. So it looks
Joel.
like it looks like Andy and Andy and Mark are ready. So drop a duck icon into into the chat if you're hanging out with us. Drop the duck emoji, just one duck emoji into the chat if you want to play the game, and we'll have Luis add your names in, and then we will do 3 quick duck races. We'll pick 3 winners, and the winners can choose either a Flowrider mug or a Flowrider t-shirt from our merch site. And you can grab your prize by, you know what? I'm gonna do it differently. You're gonna grab your prize by scanning our QR code and sending us a DM through Instagram. So just let us know that you're one of the winners, and we will send you your prize. But drop your ducks in. I see a whole bunch of ducks coming in here. Give Luis a little bit of time here. We'll sing the Jeopardy theme song in our head while Luis is entering names in quickly. Don't miss out. Grab your duck emoji in. We should. Doc and I were joking a couple days ago. We need to build Duck Race right into Ecamm so that it's
100%.
easier.
Oh my god, yo, that was the best.
All right, Mark has got all the ducks in a row. He's got them all in a row. I love it. All right, we'll give another minute here. Quick, get your duck in.
Dude, the instructions was one duck emoji marked.
Mark's trying to hedge his bets.
No, but I wonder if that breaks because the way this is, you're doing the duck emoji in order to make them enter the race. So I wonder what happens if you flood ducks, if that takes your entry out. That's just curious. Programming,
Well,
you know
Luis
what
is
it is.
manually entering them. So, how you doing, Luis?
Uh, Not too good for whatever reason. I was typing in the names and it just cleared them out. So that's why I just came up because I
Oh,
have to
all right.
kind of
Give
start
it a minute.
all
We're
over
good.
again. So, all right.
We're good.
Here,
All right. So we're
here, I
gonna.
have an
So
idea. I
this is
got
when
you.
the producers does this and says stretch it out while I work things out in the background. Okay.
What I can
Matt
do
is
for
very
you
confused
is
as to what duck race is. He's too afraid to ask. It's literally a duck race, Matt, and the winner of the duck race wins a prize. I promise it's not
um
scary.
I have Tech Sniper. So what I can do is send you a list of all of the people who entered, but they don't have a way for you to upload a thing. This is the reason why you said just a ducks, because Text Sniper would just pull your name. Everybody who types something other than that, now I got to clean that before I send it to Luis. Text Sniper is a thing that you can just highlight a section on the screen and then copy it, and it automatically copies all the text. It's kind of like copy and paste for text on screen. It's really awesome.
That's fun.
So here you go. All right, so here's a bunch of names. Luis is talking to himself.
No, I'm not talking at all. I'm waiting for the list. How did you send it?
I got you.
Luis,
I'm texting it right now. And everybody who typed more than ducks, your name might be omitted because screen capture doesn't work for you who cheated. Yes. Text Sniper is part of Set App, Paul. I'm looking to see if I missed anybody's name, but I just sent Luis the names.
All right.
Did we get Sharif and Brandy Joe on that list? Yes, I did. Yes, I did. I don't want Brandy Joe coming after me. That's why. I see her. She looked like she could fight. Yeah, I think that's everybody. I don't think I missed anybody. We'll find out once we pull it up. If anybody says my name is missing.
Oh, Joel Bennett.
Joel, where'd you get that geese from? That ain't a duck.
Are we missing Joel? No,
yeah,
Joel's there.
It's Joel. Okay. Remember, Anna changed his name to Joel.
All right, Joel. All right. Well, we'll run the same 3, so that's a goose. Joel's got a goose.
I think we're good on the list.
We're good. All right, we're gonna run the same group 3 times, but once we pull a winner, we'll remove them from the race. Oh, we've got a full race. I love it.
Yo, I love me some duck race, bro. You don't even know. Now Joe got the turkey. Joe, cut it out, dang it.
Just say go.
Ready, set, on your mark, get set, go. And they're off.
And they're going. Oh,
Saeed is taking an early lead. Saeed, the green duck number 5, is taking an early lead. But the early lead does not necessarily mean the winner. We've got Jeremy coming up and Brandy Joe coming up quickly. Val is coming up. Oh, Saeed is dropping below. We've got, it's a close race right now. It's a close race. Who's coming?
Wait, Mark is cheating.
Sharif is pulling ahead. It might be Sharif in the lead.
Sharif is on performance PEDs, performance enhancing ducks.
We're going to need Sharif, congratulations. You are our first winner. All right, Luis, remove Sharif from the duck race and let's run it again.
Saeed said this is rigged.
On your mark, get set, go! We're going. You don't want to be the early.
Yeah, Joel, don't save it, Joel. Don't come out in the front. Look, see, you just backed up.
Lead. Mr. Moderator, early lead.
No, Matt's gonna get him. Matt's gonna get him by a lips.
Matt and Mark.
Oh wait, Mark is coming through.
Other Mark. 2 Mark cuts. Wait.
Oh, Mark cheated.
Oh, cheater. We cheated for Mark. We have cheated for Mark. That's okay. We can let Mark win anyway because he was awesome in that. So he's a little angry in that picture. All right, so take both Marks out. Hang on.
Angry Mark.
Take both. All right.
Yo, Matt, what kind of hat was your duck wearing, dude?
There's 2 Mark Whitbees too. Yeah. All right. We're doing some cleanup here. 2 Mark Whitbees. There we go. Remove that one. We're like cheating on everyone's behalf. We like the marks.
Who's this?
All right.
Dunking guy?
Good luck, everyone. This is the last one. Ready?
Matt said my duck fashion is on point. Kenya said duck this.
Go Joel. Go.
All right, Joel. Oh, Joel got the purple duck. You know we wrote it for Joel now. Come on, Joel. Wait, that duck is a strawberry.
Not a good sign though.
Match strawberry
Matt
duck,
the strawberry.
strawberry
Oh,
ducks
strawberry
forever.
duck.
Oh,
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 no,
here comes
no,
Jeremy. Jeremy's
no.
duck is
There's
old.
always Paul is coming through. Paul
Yo,
is coming
the AARP duck for the
through.
win.
Congratulations, Paul. Totally fair. This is all run by the duck races. Paul
But
can't win. All right,
Paul, you
Paul,
can't
you
win,
can.
but it doesn't show us a second place duck. So see what happens.
We'll give it to Matt the strawberry duck because Matt was leading all the way through.
Yeah, I like the
All right,
strawberry duck.
so now we got to remember Sharif, Matt the strawberry duck. Who was in between? Mark Huff.
Mark
Scan
Huff.
scan this
Matt the
QR
strawberry duck.
code up here. Scan the QR code and let us know that you're a winner, and we will send you back a link to grab your prize. Mark, I know you don't love Instagram, so you can just send me a LinkedIn message or an email, and I'm happy to get you your prize. But thanks for playing with us. See, like just getting a little bit silly, and even if it doesn't go perfectly, is still a fun way to make everyone feel excited and a little bit of competitive spirit and have a little bit of fun. So there's a ton of different ways that you can do giveaways or trivia or polls. ENN does this all the time. And again, you don't have to be live streaming to do this as well. You could do this in, an episode and just give a particular amount of time that people need to get back in touch with you to win a prize. So you can use their website, you can use a Facebook group. There's tons of different tools out there to make it really fun and engaging for people. But lots and lots and lots of ways to do it. Yeah, Matt, you can do a spinning wheel, but ducks are really fun. And I think the link
Ducks
is
are
just duck
fun. They
race.
have people racing. They have robots racing. They have a bunch of different stuff. But
This
I
one's
did
called
post a link in there earlier.
online. Yeah,
OnlineStopwatch.com.
onlinestopwatch.com. Yep.
Yeah,
Onlinestopwatch.com.
yeah, super
Yeah,
cool.
people who are
Actually,
listening to this and listening only, as Saeed is pointing out, I'm pretty sure that most of our listeners know that we're a video first and video podcast. So this is one of those episodes where you need to be hanging out with us in the live studio audience. Otherwise, I mean, I would say most of this episode we were talking about things that's still relevant, but yeah.
so and to that
Sometimes
point, even if you're doing even if you're sorry, the audio, I didn't realize I was stepping. Even if you use
no.
the audio podcast, like if your only goal in life is to produce an audio podcast, you should still do a live taping on YouTube. And the
Mhm.
reason for that is it automatically gets transcribed, whether you like it or not. And everything that you say in that podcast is building SEO and authority towards the topic that you're being authoritative of. So, not doing a live recording on YouTube because you think you're hiding somewhere is actually probably stopping you from growing at this time. And I
Mhm.
must point out finally, the stats have come out again. YouTube viewership is higher than Netflix, Disney Plus, ESPN, Hulu combined.
Mhm.
Wrap that around your chameleon. Combined. It takes
Yeah.
out, you can take the top 7 online streaming services, including Amazon Prime, and YouTube viewership is higher than all of them. 2.8 billion users, over a billion hours of content uploaded, daily. So like literally you kind of sort of, why would you not be in Mall of America? You trying to be, like the brand of shoes, Matt Strawberry Duck shoes. You want to be in Mall of America. So,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And then please find me the audio podcast button on your TV. I bet you your remote has a YouTube button. Unless you
Yeah.
got like a really old TV. If you got anything in the last 10 years, your TV has a YouTube button. So yeah, this is the spot. This is why you want to do video podcasts and listen to the flow so you can learn more about it.
Absolutely. We did it. We were the most engaging podcast this week. So
Oh my God, it's so good. Yo, this is super awesome. I am so happy that we get to do this because it gives an opportunity to share these type of things and really just take away the quote unquote scariness of doing a podcast. Like, my brain does not compute scary of something that doesn't hurt, but you do you. If you're scared, you
No,
don't have to be. We
maybe it's
got
just
your
a
back.
better word is like intimidating or like time consuming. So it's other scary
Oh, it's
adjacent
time
words.
consuming for sure. That part is real. Yes, Andy is correct. The only scary thing is I
Yeah,
have a
Doc is
screw
the only
loose in my
scary
head.
thing.
I am fearless. So that is sorry. It's not good for you. It's trust me, you don't want to be this way. It's not good for you. I get myself in lots of trouble for not being fearless. But I've broken lots of bones because of it. Anyway, let's get on and say that this podcast and everything about the flow can be found at flow.ecamm.com. So if you
Mhm.
are brand new around here and you want to put it on your podcast getting thing, go to flow.ecamm.com. And his website is really cool because not only can you get your episodes or connect it to your favorite podcast getting service, you can also send us messages. You can leave us reviews. You can leave us questions. You can even leave us a voicemail. You can be like, hey, Doc, I'm scared of the dark. Tell me how not to be. And I'll be like, drink Japanese whiskey? Anyway, come and check us out at flow.ecamm.com. Also, we got to send a shout out to Captivate. Captivate is where we host this podcast. We absolutely love them. You can find out more at captivate.fm. But I will say this every week until I'm blue in the face. My favorite reason for Captivate, it is the podcast host that is designed to help you grow your podcast. They have lots of growth tools there. And yeah, it's a good place to put your ducks in the race. So check out captivate.fm.
Aw, thanks for the fun. Thanks, Luis, for doing all of the hard work in the duck the duck naming assignment. And we will see everyone next week.
Flow Riders out. Andy beat me to
Out.
it.